This is the Manufacturing Automation Podcast. I'm Michael.
And I'm Matt. In this podcast, we're going to discuss growing companies, automation and manufacturing,
and how we're building the lives and businesses we want to see in the world.
We're back on the map. As always, we have kind of our structure that we try and stick to, but we don't always do. It starts off with general feelings of the week, kind of, what are the emotions of the small business for Matt and Michael, sales and marketing, what are we changing to get in front of more people and close more deals? What are we doing for engineering and R&D? We're both passionate about making new products and for our markets, if you will, company-wide updates and improvements. We've both been on a bit of a lean kick this year, so sharing the tools, tricks that we're applying to our businesses, and lastly, a little bit of a challenge or stuff that we're kind of pushing each other to get better at or things we need to improve upon. But also don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with people you know. So general feelings of the week. You just got back from trade show. Which trade show was it?
Yeah, WESTEC. It's like the manufacturing technology series. They have I don't know, 3 or 4 of them, like that are region based. It's like a mini IMTS.
Yeah. So that, I'm assuming, is setting some of your feelings of the week.
I think just kind of still a little bit overwhelmed. I was having trouble kind of staying on top of everything before WESTEC, and then obviously WESTEC. I'm out of the office, and right now when I'm kind of playing the key salesperson role, I definitely don't love falling behind on quotes. I was kind of falling behind with the volume coming in just before WESTEC even started, and now I just have this massive to-do list in my inbox.
Yeah, your quotes are just so much different too, where it's like I could assume just the volume you have to deal with, and it just become an overwhelming list where it's just monotonous going down it some days.
Yeah, and it's just the number of deals, right? And the deal value is at this level where people want calls and customized attention, and they want to have a relationship, but it's not at the level where you have like 6 customers, right?
Yeah.
So it does definitely get hard just to even keep track of like what customer is that, what did they buy, and HubSpot makes it better, but geez, it's yeah, and there's just, especially in August, I don't know what it was, but we just got bombarded with inquiries, and no one was really buying then, and it feels like a lot of those August customers closed like 30 days, 60 days later than they normally do. So it feels like we're kind of doubling up on normal quantities, and that's...
Yeah, there's definitely been a lag, and I know we've talked about that on the pod too previously, but everybody I talked to in the B2B space, like, yeah, their sales are lagging. This has not been a fun Q1, Q2, Q3. Hope Q4 makes up for some of it.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like things are clicking for us. And that's kind of one thing I want to talk about too is... I'm really starting to, at least before WESTEC, was really starting to push on getting our conversion up, getting everything clean, and focusing more on that passive side of our business of, someone clicks on, an SEO optimized link or on, a website or, a Google shopping ad, buys the thing, and it's not totally passive income. We have to build the thing, but there's no sales process. There's no quote generation, right? There's a lot less administrative overhead on it.
Yeah, it's passive once it's set up. I mean, passive income is...
Yeah.
It's not like you just like
right.
check the easy button, if you will.
Of course. There's still... Well, that's one thing that's really nice about, our kind of vendor strategy right now of, saying, well, we only make parts to test our machines. We don't really make our own production parts. It makes it a lot more scalable because it's like, here's the drawing, here's the part, we have a pre-existing approved vendor, and if I want to double the number of quantities on quick flip stations, now it's just sending POs, as opposed to where we were trying to shuffle through that and manage essentially an engineering automation firm and a job shop. That's definitely been working out and making things feel easier to scale for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that those, like, I think you call them like 1% changes, if you will, that have big impact. I'm glad to see some of those playing out for you, because I definitely know the beginning of the year was wearing.
Yeah. But, it's I'm trying to pull myself back more and more and make more of the little changes as opposed to, trying to go and, design something that's entirely new and redefine, like I want to, our product line is already wide enough that I feel like it could support a business 10 times as large as we are right now.
I couldn't agree more because I think I've said that in the past.
Yeah.
Basically,
Well, I'm just,
you need to penetrate the market. You have a great
Yeah.
product. You just need to penetrate it.
yeah, 100%.
So, well, cool. I guess I'm still a little unsure of what your general feelings of the week are. Can you summarize that in a sentence?
Excited but overwhelmed.
Okay.
I feel like we're just getting kind of good at everything, but at the same time, it's managing all these different things. We have all these new vendors, all of this new growth. A lot of our systems are kind of breaking as we are scaling, which is why I'm focusing more on scaling the things that take less administrative work. Right? I'm not really trying to scale like our turnkeys. I'm trying to scale, sales of our products where the manufacturing is handled and we just have to handle the assembly. Yeah, just excited, overwhelmed. I'm also really excited about trade shows. I think that needs to be a bigger part of our strategy, and that's kind of one thing that's on my mind too.
Okay. Excited but overwhelmed.
Yeah.
There it is. I got it.
Yep.
We'll get more into the trade shows once we get into sales and marketing because I do want to hear how WESTEC was because we're looking at going to some California trade shows. So I'm very keen to hear more about it. For me, general feelings of the week is positive day after positive day after positive day. Like I have been on a blast of a week. Like I said I want to say I came, I just gotten back into the office after being on the road for some sales stuff. And then like I'm watching 1701, the machine run, and they're running full pallets. The whole cell's running, like everything's just running. And like I checked in with all the team members and like everything was getting like just moving along well. And I'm like, man, I should just go home or go to the like casino because today is just going amazing. And it'd been like day after day of that. And then today has even been the same. The team's cruising through stuff's getting knocked off. But I think a lot of it's kind of, similar to what you were feeling at the beginning of the year. Develop's been good in the past of spreading ourselves thin, focusing on a lot of things. And we just drew a hard line in the sand of our engineering budgets, our sales budgets, our marketing budgets, stuff like that. And then giving team members autonomy on that, but then also holding myself accountable to some of those things. And the reason I'm bringing that up is like I'm starting to do some of the forecasting for next year already because this is usually when I start setting those budgets and hone in, and then I'm asking team members questions over the next several months here to button those up for next year's growth trajectories. But I don't know. I've just been having a blast this week. So I don't know. I keep refreshing a screen over here too because I'm waiting for a project to get pushed through that I've been really excited about.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you feeling on a positive roll, but I think I have more tension of like, okay, what's the plan? And like I have a plan on how we're gonna handle the growth and how we're gonna handle the next few months, but it's a lot of work to put it all into action. I think you guys are a little more set up just to delve into everything that you've already
it's
growing
been
into right now.
Few years in the making to set the pace for it, or at least iterations on setting the pace. Like our PM software is going into Rev 3 now. We're in the process of updating that, which I'm excited to talk about, and company-wide updates and improvements. But sales and marketing, I will try and keep us on track here.
Sure.
I guess let's go with your trade shows first. I don't know.
Let's go with yours, because you were at a show too, right? Oh, you were on the road?
No, I was on the road this week. Funny story, I guess, if we want to go with sales and marketing for me first. I knew we had 2 trade shows back-to-back weeks. We actually have 3.
That's a lot.
Thankfully, the last one's only a 1-day show, but like I had completely forgot that. So it's one of our distributors that we have a good relationship with, and I had promised to him to do the show, and then like the stuff had been sitting in my inbox, and I'm like, oh yeah, crap. I had already paid for this. I had already set everything up, and I forgot about this day show that we got to do. So luckily, it's going to be pretty much me. I'm going to take everything over in a Penske truck and just do it myself because the team's got enough on their plate, and It's a small show. They get like 500 attendees, so
Okay.
it's nothing crazy.
Here's a question. How long does your setup and teardown take, and what does it look like? You know, do you have rolling carts? Like, these are the things that after having done a couple shows, I'm like, okay.
So we're changing our processes for MD and M and Eats.
Okay.
This is the first time we made a crate, wooden crate. It's sitting out here. It fits a full MRS, fits all our totes in it, fits our water, our energy drinks, our granola bars. We're just shipping it all right there, and we're going to unload it there. We've got scheduled unload times. I'm going to tell you how it goes afterwards. I'm hoping it goes well. Previous to this, well, if we go way back, we used to be like the fastest. We fit in 2 totes, basically one per person.
Yeah.
That's set up. We fit it all in there, and we hauled it in, we hauled it out. So we were in and out very quickly. Then we moved on to hauling with our own truck and trailer. I would take a pallet jack with, and I would just get screamed at by the unions because I'm a very impatient human being.
Yep.
And waiting for a forklift driver was not in my DNA. So I would literally just forklift by it, and they'd just be yelling at me, and I would just ask them to send me the fines, basically,
Yeah.
because it was cheaper than waiting.
Oh yeah, and cheaper than paying $2,000 for them to move it from the bay over. Like,
Yeah, it's exactly it. So this is the first time doing crates. I'm hoping it goes well because driving a Penske truck like all the way to several states away just kind of sucks.
yeah.
So I'm not going to miss that, but we'll see what the new paint is.
But I guess, like, you know, are you rolling cabinets? So you have the crate, right? But you know, is it a 12-hour setup? Like, are you popping the crate
like
open and
2 hours? We can
Okay.
set a booth up in like 2 hours or less.
yeah.
Our goal is like we go pretty lean on it. I don't think show booths need to be too crazy for a company our size. I've even toyed with, do we take the MRS, stuff like that. I like some of the cleaner, simpler booths. It's about talking to people. It's not about like, I mean, some people bring some really nice elaborate machines, but I don't know if they do a whole lot more than a couple videos.
Right. Yeah.
But that's my opinion.
Yep. We're definitely leaning the opposite direction on trade
Okay.
shows. Our setup was a lot of work. You know, for 3-4 people, I don't know, 6-8 hours.
Holy crap.
Yeah, so you know, we bring in that little robot. I made the mistake again of just worked straight through the weekend because I'm like, oh, I gotta do better than we did IMTS, and we did, but I'm a little bit, you know, burnt out because of it right now.
Yeah, I saw you on an interview on social media, and you look like
Yeah.
a zombie in it. I was like, oh my gosh,
That's not
Michael,
why.
get some sleep.
That was the very end of the day, and you know, bless his heart, CNC repairman. He's like, we're gonna do an interview. I'm like, that's great. Well, you know, 4 p.m. rolls around, and you know, we're popping open a couple of beers, like, right. So I'm like, you know, 2.5 beers deep, and that's when he decides to do the interview. I'm like, okay, well.
Yeah, if I'm already tired and you put a couple beers in me, you might as well give me a blanket and a pillow because I'm just gonna pass out.
Yeah, I was hoping it was going to be hours before, but, you know, I promised him I would do it, so we did.
Okay, now I've got the full backstory.
I wasn't that tired at the show. Maybe the last day at 5 p.m. trying to get out of there, but
Yeah, the last day is usually a slog because it's the typically lowest traffic on a trade show.
But yeah, I really wanted to bring the intro load, and then, you know, like Saturday we're water jetting a stand to allow the thing to actually stand up, and then and you know, we used to have this little sign that was like, you don't need a cobot, that went, and I realized it wasn't very clearly communicated like what the little robot was demoing. So then we tried to make it look more like a CNC machine, put a little TV in front of it that showed 2-op automation, and like all those things went a long way, but it made it a very long week setting up.
Yeah, you have something different too. You actually have a consistent product that you're taking
Yeah,
to it
that's
or
true.
develop as we're a service company. We're a hardcore engineering company that makes something typically different. Yeah, packaging and palletizing is getting more consistent, but it's not like I'm going to take a pack and pal cell.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and you know, we only brought a third of our SKUs, and it was a huge amount of stuff. We had like 30 gripper cases, and
Yeah, 30 of your SKUs is like, what is that, 500 parts?
no, well, they all like
Just-
self-contained, but just
No,
you
I'm
know,
just giving you.
and a lot of it, I spent a lot of time just thinking after the show and like the last day of the show and it was slow, just like looking at other vendors and seeing like, oh, how can we do this better? And also talking to vendors, seeing how much they spend, about how much show, what are the ROI on shows. And I think it really changed my perspective and it's going to make us do a lot more shows and put a lot more into them.
Yeah, it's interesting because like I'd love to see our SEO do more than it is, and
Yep.
I say that, and what's interesting is this has been the best back-to-back months in SEO for us in history. But it's like I think shows are back. Like people are enjoying doing business face to face. I don't even know if it's necessarily shows. It's the fact that like I'm getting more requests to just like do site visits and meet with people face to face earlier on, and I like it too. Where like a lot of people, it wasn't uncommon for 2020 through 2023 be like, no, we don't want to see you.
Yeah.
Like bid the project. Like we landed multiple projects, and I never even went to the facility before we signed contracts.
Right. Yep.
And I mean, on big deals, and now that's becoming less and less common.
Yeah, we had, I don't know, 3 or 4 customers that were like mid-deal, and we're like, oh, we're going to pause on this, and then we'll see you at the show.
Cool.
And yeah, that was, I think half of them actually came by, but yeah, like I definitely think the shows are making a comeback. WESTEC got really small for a little bit and seems to be starting to make a recovery.
Yeah, I'm looking to come out. I'm going to see how MD&M goes here in Minneapolis, and I'm curious to come out to MD&M in California.
Yep. Yeah, definitely talk to me before that one because there's some very annoying stuff with the Anaheim Convention Center. Their labor union and company is the worst I've ever seen in any convention center. So there's definitely some pro tips. I can tell you the bills and the level of deception from on how things were charged it was at a scale I've never seen. It was, you always pay more than you're supposed to. This was 3x of IMTS, and it was just like clearly fraudulent billing. It's a
Maybe we'll talk about that offline.
Yeah, we'll talk about that offline. But
I get very frustrated when I get a bid and then I get a bill and they are 3x discrepancy. I mean, I have a trucking company that did that to us. That it took like 9 months of me saying I'm not paying this till I get somebody on the phone, and I think they finally took me seriously. But it was like I shouldn't have had to waste that much time.
Oh, of course, yeah. But yeah, the trade shows are a big thing. I'm getting more focused on. Can you talk about anything from when you were on the road, or was it all?
I was just going through. So I go through my calendar. I had one. Going through, I had back-to-back days. I was on site at the plant, and then went back in on site to button up some details. So that was fun. It was I'd never sent an email saying maybe we should. I'm starting to feel like I'm part of the team. Am I getting an office today? Because that was my 4th time on site then in 4 weeks. So lots of site visits there very quickly. I'm optimistic I'll be sharing some news relating to that project. I can share some stuff high level related to that one next week, hopefully. I actually did a really fun site visit this week as well, where I haven't been doing site visits to our suppliers. And now that my team's been clearing bandwidth for me, I'm trying to actually get out to our suppliers and do site visits there.
Oh, cool.
So that was fun. I did one that we're vetting for some projects right now and really enjoyed it. Just, it was a several-hour road trip, but I'm going about it that way too, to try and get more of our suppliers close by, work really tightly with them. I know we kind of talked about this last week where you're like, you're pushing a lot of stuff to the Midwest, but a lot of the stuff we do is right here. So if anybody's listening and you have been doing work with developer trying to, please DM me on one of the social medias, because I'm looking to do more road trips to some of our suppliers, and we're going through a new kind of vetting procedure to get more suppliers on our list that are as close as possible. So ideally I get to meet some of them face to face. So that was really fun. I did that earlier this week as well. Otherwise, the rest of my I guess a lot of my sales. Yeah, another one I can't talk about. Other two were what's interesting is so actually this is interesting note is all of the customers that I met with this week too were within a maximum of 50 miles of our facility.
Wow, that's close.
And that's one, two, three, four projects that or four separate customers that are all within 50-mile radius, which is like, if you go back 5 years, develop 80% of our business was out of state. And it was like nobody, like it was so
Right.
tough to get in front of people. And now like our SEO and word of mouth is trending a lot better. So we're seeing a lot more really local business, which is really nice.
Yep.
So that's probably the best thing that I could share from that. That might be why I didn't have to travel as far, and I got some really good sales meetings.
Yeah, that is nice. You know, we have our mostly sell into like the Midwest and kind of all over the place, but we have our second intro load that's in the local area, and it's just so nice to be 40 minutes away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's about it for my sales stuff. I got a few other marketing. We're on Fanuc's website now. So
Oh, cool.
we've been ASI certified for now a month. So you get certified and then you get put in their portal and then you have to go through a checklist of things to complete before they'll actually put you on the website. We got all that done now. So we're listed there. And then we also got the modular robot system listed on their Cobot and Go list. So they are listing CRX Cobot products on their website now. So that's now listed there, which is really cool to have that getting in front of more people.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's I don't know if I shared the How We Work page. Have you seen that yet, Michael?
I have not. No, on your website?
Yeah, so go to develop and then once you're there, you're going to go to automation and then right under automation mega menu, the first one to the right there should be How We Work. And we updated our automation assessment services page there as well. But the How We Work is there's still some polishing we have to do. There's some images and formatting I'm not quite happy with, but I was really happy with the structure of the text. So we just got it live so SEO starts crawling. And then we're going to go through and polish this a little bit more. But it's more or less just what it's like on the journey of working with develop from automation assessment to scoping your machine to building it to maintaining it into the future.
Yep. No, I like it. Let me see. My only feedback is I would jam some more call to actions in there and make them bigger.
That's one of them that is missing. Yes.
Yeah.
And there's some links to other pages that are missing. So yeah, I think great feedback. And that is some of the lists that we do have for internal changes.
Cool. I got some marketing stuff too. Probably the biggest one is we brought on a new freelancer to do our editing, our podcast editing, the shorts and a lot of the Instagram editing because Priscilla's just getting too busy. I delegated a lot of quote generation to her. Quote generation and admin has just that's why our social has been falling so far behind. But that's going to be hopefully another thing that's a big lift off our plate. That was true with our SEO guys. We're still looking at a couple different options for pay-per-click. Although, honestly, I might kind of put that one on pause if we're continuing to be this busy, right? If
You're saying have somebody manage your pay-per-click?
Yeah,
That's
it's tough. Yeah,
I keep going back to that I should just manage our pay-per-click
yeah,
because I've paid agencies to do it. I don't know why just keyword management and PPC is just and it doesn't take that much to set up. Like it doesn't need to be as expensive as they claim it is to manage it, having set them up in the past.
I'm with you, and it's about finding the right freelancer that kind of the way I'm getting vendors now is kind of by referral only, which I've had really good luck with. Yeah, honestly though, I think probably right now PPC is so low on my priority list. I'm probably gonna maybe go in and spend a couple hours cleaning it up and then leave it because I can't afford. It's not that I couldn't get growth out of it. It's just that like right now I need to build out the team more and get all of these SOPs and systems optimized so that we're able to get through things without collapsing, right? I don't want pure chaos.
Yeah, I think your SOPs is the right position to be spending your dollars on moving forward. Having gone through that over the last couple of years, it's definitely setting us up for some solid leverage here into next year.
So some big marketing things we've done. I've really focused on. I've been talking about email newsletters. Oh my God, they work so well. Um, like especially compared to pay per click. I mean, they're so much lower cost. They're so effective. And now we're on our website in the top banner. There's a sign up and save 5% off. And I just realized like just collecting that email, getting them on our newsletter. There's even a conversion change of if we have their email and they go to checkout and then they leave items in the checkout, then they get an email, and that bumps our conversion of what would have been abandoned sales by like 20%. So the everything right now is about getting the user, getting their email and getting them to book a demo. And if you go to our website, like all of our call to actions now, this is one that I think you will think is ugly. The so we kind of have like our brand palette. We have like a dark navy blue.
I'm gonna think it's ugly. I don't even know if I need to see it.
No, but so we have kind of a white. We have our light blue for our logo and a dark blue kind of background. But every call to action and everything I want someone to click on is green now. So like it's purposely not in our brand colors to make it stick out. So it is very weird. Like it just draws the. Do you see it? Do you not like it?
How can I miss it?
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess that's working for it. I mean,
you wouldn't believe how much better our booking rates are for a given amount of traffic. And yes, it is ugly. It is not like but even if you add something to your cart, right? And then you scroll down, the little cart icon turns green. So it's this like instinctive clicking thing that people click on the green item to go to the next thing
I
to
think
do.
it's starting to work because it's just turning into your brand is like you have a lot on your homepage. So it's like it's just turning into the style of branding you do. Like I've seen the way you do trade shows and stuff where like develop is typically minimalist. Like what's the least amount that we can say but get our point across is the way we typically go about things. It's just completely different tastes, different styles. So if it's working, keep doing it.
No, I think it's ugly, right? I'm not gonna lie about it, but I don't think it's taste. I think like for me, it's an A/B test. And if I get 30% more people to click on the button because it's green as opposed to blue, even though blue looked nicer, I'm gonna go with the green one.
I'm just like
you're just thinking about like putting the green on yeah.
Oh no, I'm not thinking about putting green on my website. I'm just going through because you've got like multiple blues, you've got multiple oranges. You now have green layered in there.
Yep.
You have so many images. Like it is like a collage.
Yeah. There's definitely optimization, but I really am shocked, and I've like watched people interact with the website. There is something like instinctual of like just clicking the green thing. That wasn't there, like it didn't flow as smoothly before. But yeah, like every buy it now or add to cart button, anything that somehow monetizes for us is that green, and everything else is not.
Yeah, so for us, we've tried doing everything that's an orange is an action is what we've been moving to website, and we're doing the same thing on our HMIs. So that's one thing that I've been like the team's been working for is like brand language, and once you start working within Develop's ecosystem, it all is the same into the future is our goal. So if like you buy from us, our HMI starts feeling the same way, our quoting, like all this stuff should feel the same way. And the goal of brand language for us is like whether you buy a machine with our HMI today or 10 years in the future, we want them to feel and operate very much the same is kind of our goal. And same thing from buying on our website or contacting us to operating our HMI. We want clicking orange or doing certain things or similar things. We subconsciously start training our customers.
I'm like things are definitely going to change too. Like I know long term we're going to go to like embedded Windows when right now we're on ladder logic PLC controllers. Like I think
a big move once you go there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big software lift.
We've already done it once on a couple. We did some kind of light stuff for our own applications, and we did it on a custom turnkey. So we know how to do it, but yeah, it's not trivial for sure. But we don't have the same level of integration. We don't have to integrate with a FANUC robot and 3,000 different things that aftermarket conveyors. I mean,
Yeah, ours was
Yeah.
2 years, 1.5 people just laying the architecture for the software, and then actually getting it to work on a couple on the back half of those 2 years.
Yeah.
And then now we're rolling it out to everything in the future.
Yeah. Oh, marketing, pro tip for anyone doing trade shows. We've always bought the stupid like express leads or whatever little badge scanning. It never occurred to us until now that you could just take a picture and that on all of those and then just scan it off of one phone. So,
So I've been down that rabbit hole too.
uh-huh.
I don't know. What do you all get? So when you do it that way, do you get the entire Excel spreadsheet though
Yeah,
with
yeah.
all their information you do? Okay.
Yeah. Well,
'Cause
you
I've done
just take a picture of the QR code, right? And
Yes.
again, the union guys will yell at you if they see you doing this, but and then, at the end of every day, you just scan in all the ones that were pictures. And then it's the same as if you had, the 4 phones paid for. Except instead of $2,000, it's $500.
Yeah.
So
Wait, say that again.
So typically you pay per device when you're scanning in badges, right?
Yeah, that's the way we use
Yep.
phones, but that's the way we do
Yeah.
it.
So you are able to download, for however many devices, it'll cost more the more devices you have.
Yes.
So you have one person with a device. If they're talking, they just scan. But anybody else, they just take a picture of the badge.
I see what you're
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a clever idea. It will not work with our AI sales tool that we're rolling out at these next 2 trade shows because we're overlapping when we scanned leads, when we talk to the leads, and then leveraging that into our follow-up emails.
No, the output's the same. You still get
Not-
one spreadsheet.
We need timestamp of scan.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So if I don't have that, our entire tool will break.
Right. I mean, even like within a day, you're still gonna have the timestamp. It'll just show all of them at the end of the day.
Yeah, I need it to the minutes.
Oh, gotcha. Do you have like Plot or something recording the conversations? Yeah. Okay.
And then we're overlapping that, putting that all into HubSpot, tracking all those notes. So then, because what we typically do is we'll talk
Right.
to our phone afterwards and put a bunch of notes into our lead.
Right.
Our goal is we record everything that way, and then we just take all those notes right into our Excel spreadsheet, import that into HubSpot, and then we can move on to the next leads quicker.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think we're going to get those dollars back anyways in what we pay for the scanning app.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
But
Yeah. Just trade shows. I'm looking at all these little optimizations. I'm like, okay, we're gonna bring our own little quiet air compressor because we use barely any air. I'm not paying those ridiculous air rates. We're putting everything on these like U-line rolling workbenches, so we can kind of roll everything in and out. All these like little tiny optimizations. Where like I designed this little thing. I guess this is half engineering now, but to hold the tool holders, I saw something similar at Shunk. In the orientation, they would be in the machine, and actually, we're gonna put a little stepper motor and have them continually rotate.
oh, that's cool.
But all the little tiny trade show things, because I'm like, if we're gonna do 4 or 5, if we're gonna spend, I don't know, 60 to 100 grand a year on this, I have to treat it differently than if we're doing 2 or 3 or 1 or 2, right?
Makes sense to me. Yeah.
Cool. You want to keep rolling?
Yeah, sounds good. Engineering and R&D, you were kind of rolling into that anyways with your tool holder. And then it sounded like you just threw it on the ground, so I don't know.
Yeah, something fell. The little fifth axis pull stud. If you need fifth axis product,
Yeah,
we're happy to sell it.
Sounds good.
Engineering R&D. We forgot to put Loctite assembling our grip flip grip module in a rush. With people in on the weekend, trade show chaos.
Do you mark everything?
We paint mark. Well, we paint mark generally anything in a high vibration environment.
So we moved to everything has to be paint marked.
Yeah.
Is what we did on all our assemblies. Because we tried that where it was like, only the areas that we think are going to come loose.
Right.
But it's like, then another area is coming loose. It's like just everything gets X, Y, Z process.
Yeah. Well, like the thing is our stuff's getting adjusted a lot more, right? So like if you have a vise and it's getting torn down and set up, sure you can like paint mark the bolt onto the module, but you definitely can't paint mark everything. But
yeah, for us it's like this stuff should never come apart unless something else broke.
Yeah, and maybe the Loctite was there, but it was just the crazy vibration of being driven in, right?
Those union operators.
Anyway, the little flip station, came loose, and I had to chase down Loctite, and all of our designs have been on a mix of imperial and metric because you know how US design goes. And I was like, okay, I'm going to start working on getting everything possible onto metric and off of imperial because this is a pain. And I realized I could just actually save money by consolidating a couple parts. I did the design this morning, spent 30 minutes on it, and that'll actually save us money and make that particular failure mode impossible.
Cool.
So, and then I guess the only other thing, I made a trade show mock-up CAD model this morning, just to be like, okay, this is exactly what it's going to look like. This is exactly how we're laying it out, and it's kind of engineering, kind of sales, right, or kind of marketing.
You can tape it. So tape out your booth and then
we
lay
did
it
that.
out. Yeah, that helps sometimes.
Yeah, the only reason I CAD model it, first off, is to like have something that survives, right? So whenever we're doing a 10 by 10, we have the model. Here's how it looks like. We have it in 3D. The big thing was like we needed to choose what $1,000 rolling workbenches are going to go to these shows. I didn't want to buy the wrong ones.
Yeah.
So modeled it out. We landed on, okay, we're going to use 3 of the 48 by 30s, and then we bought one this morning to make sure it looks as nice as we want it to, and then we'll buy the other 2.
Cool. Send some. I want to see how that works for you. I'm curious. Are you doing like you said rolling case? Are you saying like kind of like I think like band cases is like the best way I think of them. Is that what you're talking about, where they're just giant metal cases?
Those are what made me think of it, but a couple companies had it. Trinity and Sarah Laser both had these. They're U-line cabinet workbench. And that was one thing I didn't like really is, we had, I don't know, what, 40 grand worth of product that was just like sitting there unlocked, right? Just under a curtain. The idea of just having a nice locking cabinet sounded really good to me.
Yeah, I've looked at these for just on our shop floor before.
Yeah. But, big casters, and I can't tell you how jealous I was watching a couple people roll these big things by. That was their table, right? Everything just went into it and then rolled out, and it seemed like such a clean workflow and it's not that expensive, not in trade show terms.
You gonna do a giant decal on the back of it then?
We're gonna have a TV on the side, so the robot goes on one of them, the little demonstrator robot, to show how 2-op automation works, and we'll probably have like smaller decals on the front.
I'd probably vinyl wrap that if it was me.
Yeah, I wish they were black, because that would definitely.
Black it.
Yeah,
you can do vinyl. I mean, vinyl's cheap.
Yeah, I mean, even I'm so worried about velocity and my time's so short. I'm almost like, can I call like a car guy to wrap it?
No, that's exactly what you do.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was thinking like, oh, we could powder coat them all and over the existing powder, but yeah.
No, I just
mean, even if
vinyl
just the
wrap
panels. Yeah, not even the legs, just the panels, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. Yeah. And then you could take do like a DXF layout of that and then send it to Fiverr, Upwork, and have them lay out your graphics for it. I think that'd be sick.
Yeah, that's a great idea. But yeah, I mean, just engineering to make it easy, and then I'm going to make the little box that spins the grippers. We can actually turn them on and off with pneumatics if we want to. Other than that, there's no real like product engineering other than a couple little tweaks.
Yeah, ours is AI sales tool is probably the most unique engineering we've done this week or the last couple weeks. So we're going to be 100 hours into this tool. We're budgeted 80. You know how it goes. Now, thankfully, he's running testing. What we're doing is we found we have it audit all of our scans too and compare it online. Not to get too in the weeds of it because there's some cool stuff I don't want to share relating to it. But it does some auditing of the way we categorize our lead ratings at the show based on, emotions kind of get hotter. You get like, oh, this is a great lead. But then we have it do some auditing for us. And we actually had it audit some of our last trade shows. And we found out that we had underrated some leads. So the opposite of what I had thought. So we're testing it on these leads that we had underrated and having it follow up with that. And I guess it's there's so many human steps in the loop. It's more or less just doing all the button clicks that I would normally do when I go through things. There's only so many that you can get through. So it found some unique gaps that I left open because it just could do it so much faster.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I'm excited to see that testing come through. MRS shipping crate for our trade shows here. We're going to be loading that up next week. We've got SolidWorks on site next week for a marketing shoot. So they're doing a case study on
cool.
us and our machine building. I'm quite excited for that. We'll see how that goes. Second time I've done a case study with Disto now. So they're always a good time.
I always thought it was Dassault, but that makes way more sense.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is Disto.
I just want to say it's kind of funny how our engineering, it is engineering, but it's really engineering about sales and marketing this week.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah.
I'm going to go on to the next ones is HMI demo. We've got those, which the reason I wanted these is for when I do sales tours at our facility. I always want our MRS HMI running, and I always want one of our extrusion processing machines or one of our packaging and palletizing HMIs running, depending upon who I'm giving the tour. We're going to flip it. And so I can put them right in front of it and act like they're running one of the machines that they're going to buy. So that's been a huge one. We've got the Black Anno. They're getting set up right now with the software and just a Husky rolling cart with that setup. So I'm excited. But these HMIs in black are effing sick.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I want to see one of these with the Anno on it.
Oh, my gosh. I don't know why I didn't do this or why we didn't do this sooner.
You're going to start anodizing everything just like us.
I wish we could justify anodizing more of the stuff that goes on our machines. The challenge is it's like, where do you draw the line on spending dollars on some of these things? It is definitely not needed for these machines.
Right.
And then given the high risk of changing stuff, it's like, I think the biggest thing I don't want to pay for is the lost time, because our customers care about getting their machines faster than if it's all black anode, where we're going to inventory HMIs.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So,
well, I mean, if your inventory, oh, you mean on everything else? Like it makes sense on the HMIs because they're inventory, but everything else, yeah.
So we'll always have technically inventory. We have our demo HMIs I'm viewing as kind of inventory. If we ever need to steal one of those, we can make another one or have one sitting on the shelf. But yeah, it's not like we're going to inventory a custom part that I don't know what's coming next week, if you will.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense too, because you might have to make a new rev of a part on one of these machines, and if you add that OSP, that timeline, that cost, the rework of the part, like you just added 2 weeks of unnecessary work.
It's exactly that. It's less about the dollars associated with paying for the anno. It's the time.
Yep. Yeah. So that makes a ton of sense.
That's pretty much it for my engineering and R&D company-wide updates and improvements.
Yeah. So there was definitely, I spent some time walking around the show to figure out, what could we use that was at the show that would make our lives more efficient. And I actually walked the show 4 times. We really get out there when we're at a show and like try to draw people in, try to talk to people who then, half the time act like we don't exist, which I get it. And by the way, compared to some of the vendors around us, I was shocked by just how little effort some of these salespeople put in. But so we get a lot of people who actually do have CNC machines and could use the product, but wouldn't have talked to us. But because of that, there's a lot of good solutions out there where the trade show booth like doesn't matter to you, or does but something in it is interesting. So I walked the show 4 separate times and I found a couple things. The first thing was X-Tool makes this like consumer grade laser, right? Now for context, we have a $14,000 MOPA that we do a lot of our etching really fast, but it has.
You're talking about the little like box,
the little
one?
fiber, the Galvo.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear about this because I've looked at it multiple times on social media.
So like we have a really nice Galvo laser, but what this one had, you have to buy their like $3,500 main unit. It's only 20 watts, so that's down from a 100-watt MOPA, but it has a conveyor belt, and you can just throw the parts on the conveyor belt in any orientation. It takes a picture. Yeah, it uses vision, and it goes and it puts them in the right spot. So I'm like, we etch all these little grippers and nameplates and all this stuff. And, because we have so many different setups, it's one guy putting in thing after thing after thing.
That is a brilliant idea that they came up with. Yeah. I can't believe somebody hasn't done that sooner. Now that I've heard it, I'm going, oh my gosh, why hasn't that been done sooner?
Yeah. So like I went on to Amazon, it was $4,800 for the whole kit. A third of our other laser. And the great thing is like, If it doesn't
With the
work, I
conveyor?
can just return it. No, the conveyor, the laser, and filtration.
Yeah, so all of
Yeah.
that was for $4,800.
Yeah, because it's
That's-
like, yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it breaks after a year, right? If the conveyor thing does what it's supposed to, like, even though it's so much lower wattage, it's going to take way longer. Just being able to throw the things out, not worry about alignment, that could be amazing.
That's automation at its finest.
Yeah.
People get too consumed about cycle time and rapids and stuff like that, but it's like just uptime. That's what matters
Yeah.
most. Uptime.
Not even uptime. It's the biggest output for the lowest human input. People always look at the machine output, and no, the only thing that really matters until you're super optimized is that human input. How much human touch does it take for a given amount of output? And I'm so excited about that. Another thing we're going to do is we're going to get one of those little Langmuir press brakes. They weren't actually at the show, but yeah, I think we spend enough time doing press braking that having it automated and perfect every time is a big value add for us.
Which Langmuir are you looking at?
So it's like an entry level CNC press brake. It's pretty much the only option.
The 25T?
Yeah. It's supposedly $4,500. It's really like $8,000 or $9,000 once you add all the options you kind of have to have.
I've never seen this one actually. That's an interesting little setup.
So, I thought I couldn't justify it. And it still is one of those things that I don't think there's like an immediate ROI business case, the same way there is with a laser. But I do think that there's a chance that we change our design philosophy and we lower our part count, but we wouldn't be able to prototype without it there. So it's one of those things. I think it could have a huge ROI potential, but we won't be 100% sure until we buy it and try to use it for 6 months.
It's also $4,500. I feel like some things that are like, I feel like if it's
Sure.
under X $1,000, depending upon size of business, you shouldn't have to justify an ROI case. It increases our velocity. We have a reason for it. We have the
Yeah.
capital to do it. Click buy.
Yeah, but I mean, it's really $10,000 once you add the tooling. That's the thing. That's a no tooling, no option price. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I think it's because it's not like core to the business, but I think it could change our design philosophy and lower our part count and open up a lot of different options that we haven't explored.
Yeah, it looks like a cool setup. I mean, we don't have any. We have a little bit of sheet metal stuff, but I've never known this one existed, which is interesting. I'll be curious to hear what you think of it.
And then, other little CI stuff. We've been pushing our vendor Gantt chart to keep our vendors accountable. And now I have like a vendor Gantt chart for general machining. I have one for marketing. I have one for our SEO guy, and that's working great. That's been a huge improvement of just having not only Gantt charts for the internal team, but kind of the extension of the team, if you will, on all of our vendors who are putting in a considerable amount of time every month.
Yeah, you talked about that a little bit last week, so sounds like it's working in the direction you want.
Yeah.
It's not becoming too much of a headache to manage.
No. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it is just choosing the right vendors who aren't too much of a headache to manage, right?
True.
Yeah, that's half the battle.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
What about you?
I am in execution of sales has been a big portion of my week, but for company-wide updates and improvements, what we have happening is I was actually just pulling up our CI list. So I think I had talked about in the past where we run a swim lane now where we can only have 5 CIs or R&D initiatives in the pipeline at any given time. So like right now, for context, we have HMI hardware that's getting buttoned up. Like I was talking about, I think that should be done today, if not Monday. We have the MRS, the changes we were making to it was going through this. So that was allocated one of them that actually I just saw get updated. It's going to internal FAT right now and getting everything signed off at the end of the day, hopefully here. AI sales tool again next week. So we've got 3 things getting swept off the board here, either today or by Wednesday of next week. And then we have one plan upgrade stuff that we're doing. So that's for those that haven't been listening, that's our project management software that we use. We're going through an initiative to update that so we can get more features utilized for more projects running in parallel because we really broke the system in the last 12 months of maybe broke's wrong. We found its limits is the best way. And we knew it the last year when we moved to one plan and set it up. We set it up as, all right, we're doing this to figure out if we like it. And if we do, we're going to invest further into it and see what kind of breaks and really define exactly what we need. So that's what we're going through. That should be done here in the next 2 weeks. We've already been working on that for the last 2 to 3 weeks, getting stuff done, which the timing of that's going to be really good to have all that in place because it appears we got a lot of Gants that got to get added to it as of like now.
Yeah.
And then the other ones are A3 certification. We're getting audited in almost exactly a month. So it's more or less looking at what are some of the CIs that we want to do next year, but then also looking at what we use, because I gave the team a number of hours for our budget that we could use for these initiatives this year, and seeing how that's been playing out and figuring out what our budgets are going to look like for next year has been a lot of my updates and improvements that I've been looking at over the last week. I don't really realize it's a lot of vague answers there, but it's more or less just kind of auditing a lot of it right now to figure out some of the planning, because I like planning next year right about now. Like I'm calling my accountant right now saying, hey, what do you recommend we do to close out the year strong? How do we do X, Y, Z to make sure we set us up for success in the next year? And I kind of try and do the same thing for planning. So when we get to the end of the year Christmas party, we can give good details of how the year finished and start setting the teasers to what's going to be happening in the following week for our kickoff.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, I realize it's very vague, but
I didn't think it was that vague.
Yeah, my nothing too else, kind of doing the same thing with our contractors. So talking to our agencies, I have them start building out our plans for next year as well. So our marketing agencies building out what they think we should do for our 2026 and based on the budget that they've been given.
Cool.
So, yeah.
What's the next challenge for the week? Is that the next one?
Yeah, that is pretty much it. Yeah, and we're actually pretty close to an hour, so we might wrap up a little bit earlier. But yeah, I don't know if anything stood out to you. It seems like you need to.
Mine, unfortunately, again, is the same as it was last time. We still haven't done the like high level. Yeah. The kind of high level, business top down thing. The trade show prep got in the way. Kind of my fault for allowing that. So same accountability item as for the last 2 weeks, which isn't great.
Is it going to be you and Priscilla doing it?
Yeah, right now, we're hiring right now 3 different positions, which is significant. So that should change, but obviously I want the people to get settled in first.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. It's almost like you guys need to create like in a day event of it and like
I know, yeah.
book a conference room that you paid $40 for or something, just so you're like, I'm committed.
We actually did have a day we were committed and we just both felt awful, and like it just wasn't the day, and then and sometimes those things happen. Sometimes you get sick or whatever. But we got to get back on the schedule and also be realistic about looking at our schedule when that can happen, so we don't continue to. It's always bad to be unrealistic and then fail to hit the goals that were set when you were unrealistic, right?
Yeah, I think we're both kind of victim of that sometime, or just burning ourselves out because we like, I set the goal, I have to get it done, and then it's a grind.
Yeah, it's easy to be a victim of your own ambition.
Yes, that's actually a great way to end the podcast almost. So your challenge is to do that. Actually, I keep lagging on getting my honey mailed out too because I have other initiatives coming in. So I probably need to, or I actually have some bandwidth next week, so I better get those things out because I've got some that I really want to mail.
Well, we'll both have repeats.
Yep. So fair enough.
Yep. Cool.
So I'll put yours.
Well, easy, just same as last week on my notes.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
You want to wrap there?
Yeah. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends and family. Until next time.
All right, cool. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening to Matt and I's conversation this week on the Manufacturing Automation Podcast. If you like the podcast, please share it with a friend or give us a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts.
We'll be back next week to continue sharing our respective journeys in life, business, and industrial automation. Thanks so much.